Yes.
We did a little fashion show with the hats. I need to post that up. Oh my god.
And I freaking adore hats and headgear and accessories and scarves, and I just don't wear them that often, but I love them. But yeah, Wagner, I wanted him to have a cabbie hat, and that just kind of really started to define his character for me because of this one feature that he has. And the profession I chose for these guys after the whole idea with making them accountants was I wanted them to be clockmakers. So I drew up Wagner, and I wanted him to look like his brothers and sisters, but I wanted him to be a little bit different. So I added the concept, because I actually got a lot of the concepts for these guys from Rattles, because Rattles' character Jarek, his arms and legs, instead of it being like...
Yeah, there's something I didn't say. With Eaton's crew, they kind of have a hydraulic system going on because of what they're associated with. Like I said, I was in the Air Force, and they're kind of associated, their background does have to deal with planes. And as such, their legs and some of them have their arms are actually hydraulics to where, specifically with Ben and Jarek, like I said, they're kind of rabbits. They have hydraulics in their legs that intentionally allow them to jump pretty motherfucking high.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, continue.
Well, with, like, you not
rape.
Fail, Rattles.
Utter
Stop
fail.
failing so hard, please.
Thank
you.
Sorry.
Stop that. Here. Stop that. Stop that.
There, see?
Okay.
Problem solved.
So, anyway, like I said, I wanted them to look the same, but look different. So I gave, with Jarek, her character Jarek, I noticed that the way she did the seams is that the seams were actually on the shoulders, like basically around the arms and around the legs, and I had not had any characters in the Eve Punks that had the seams around the legs like that, where the arms and legs just tacked on. So I did that with Wagner.
Yeah, that's right. Vic's leg, you actually push down the seam and open, remember?
Huh?
To get to the hydraulics in his leg.
Yeah.
You can actually cut down the seam.
But,
You don't remember this.
yeah, I remember this.
Okay.
But, so I basically went for, a design different from the EPA, so I wanted him to look different. Anton, I actually, at the moment I drew his face, and I gave him different optics because I wanted him to have sort of a unique... I was actually going for kind of a glasses look, and that's where he got the porthole optics, where it has the knobs on the sides and the tops and the bottoms. And the moment I drew the face expression, I was like, I know you're going to be trouble. So after I realized this, that's where kind of the rest of his design came from, was that I knew he was going to be trouble. And the first thing that came to mind, because of the where they came from, because of their back history and stuff, for some reason, jumped immediately to the 1920s. So, he ended up with a straw boater hat, he ended up with this vest, and just this kind of salesman pitching attitude, and I loved it. I thought it was adorable, so I kept the concept. And originally he was actually supposed to be a lot baggier in the, ass area. His legs are supposed to be larger than they actually are, but he came out being really tall and skinny, and so did his sister. So then I drew Elsa and Johan, and Elsa was supposed to be the companions, again, brother and sister types. I have Anton and Elsa, and they always hang out together, and they're pretty much like twins. And with Anton and Elsa, when I started drawing her up, I knew that I wanted the two of them to be together, and I knew I wanted him to be the big brother type. And
yeah, if you kind of notice, if you look at all of our characters, if you sit down and actually look at them, they all follow the same 1 to 9 concept. There's always some sort of leader. There's always kind of some sort of medic.
There's always some kind of crazy, and there's always
a set of twins, or at least 2. There's always, for some reason, we took notice that there is always a set of 2 in every group that is meant to be really close.
And it's not intentional.
It really isn't intentional.
And there's always a crazy person or somebody that's damaged.
Jarek.
Johan.
Let's see. Tolstoy.
Yeah. Isaac.
Yeah. Let's see. God, now I can't think because I don't have a list of our characters. But anyway.
So Elsa, I just went for simple, but I was going for the 1920s again, so I tried to give her a flapper style dress, and it didn't really happen. So her dress has been redesigned. It does look a bit better. She actually has a cloche hat now. She actually had a cloche hat back then, too, which is just a pillbox hat. It's just a round, or not even a pillbox hat. It's like a roundish kind of hat, because, like I said, love hats! So she ended up...
Wow, that was really gay! sister.
So she ended up with this hat and this dress, and I made it to where her dress goes over top of her zipper, so her zipper pull hangs out on top of the dress like it's kind of a necklace or something. Johan was not intended to be what he became. When I started drawing Johan, I knew...
Kind of amazing how that worked out. So.
I wanted him to have the same setup as Wagner as far as the arms and the legs are attached at the hips and the shoulders. And I wanted him to be quiet, use a lot of body language, be very shy, and get embarrassed easily. And basically, it was kind of the way that I drew him, I think, even though the way I drew him does not imply any of that at all. He's actually sitting there on his knees with his hands out. But I was going for a blend of different fabrics for him because I wanted something different. I wanted unique colors and a unique pattern. So I kind of just textured him up when I was drawing on pencil so that his chest was dark and that his legs had stripes on them. And later on I put together a color scheme when we were just dicking around OC, and it worked so well. I loved it. So I kept it. And his color scheme actually pretty much has not changed. It's stayed very much the same ever since.
Don't mind me, I'm just doodling loose.
Isaac didn't.
Isaac didn't come around. Really.
I just have a torso and a head for my initial sketch of Isaac. I knew I wanted him to be stern. I knew I wanted him to be very evil. That's all I knew. I wasn't even know evil. I just knew I wanted him to be a stern father figure. And that's where he started, and it just kind of spiraled madly out of control from there. But
kind of like Evil Uncle. Think Scar from Lion King in terms of Evil Uncle.
I went by the designs I had for Klaus and Liesel and made him sort of to match. And that's what all that crew... Oh, except for the last two, which I'm not going to tell you much about them. But I will say that how they hit me. You guys were talking about how do you get the... Yeah. Oh. You guys talking about how do you get the ideas? You know, like I said, most of these guys come from a profession, from something that I see, from something that, you know, just...
And itty bitty's throwing up on the carpet. You better catch her.
Oh, crap. I'm not going to catch her in time. Itty bitty, itty bitty, itty bitty, itty bitty.
Oh. Sorry, our kitten got sick.
Here, baby.
It happens every so often.
There you go, sweetie. But... Yes,
you're going to talk in the kitchen where they can't hear you.
The last two came in such a way that Rattles always still makes fun of me about, because
oh my God! She woke up as we were falling asleep.
We went to bed. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. We had a major planning session for RagNBone. It was a weekend.
And we had no, it was not. We had to go to work. It was Monday.
Oh, but that was when we were going to work in the afternoon, though. So that didn't. We were going to work at 4 that evening. So it's not like we weren't getting sleep. So it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. We went to bed. We were laying there for about 5 to 10 minutes or so, and
she just leaves.
Let me explain what happened in my head.
In your head.
I'm laying there.
Where did I? Oh.
And I keep getting this just really light image in my head. Now, one thing I didn't explain about the Franz punks is that their hands was actually an accident. I just kind of derped up a little like rough sketch for their hands. And from there, they got those little skeletal hands like you'll see in the pictures.
A lot of our guys are accidents.
It works because of the fact that where they work with clocks, their hands have to be very small to be able to... And yet, that's why their arms are so skinny, because they can reach inside the clocks. But it takes out the risk of them getting caught on things and getting broken. Which actually happened to Johan once with his hand. But, so I had this really light image, and it started with a hand. And, just kind of went up the arm to the face. And I was like, I need to go to sleep. And so I'm trying to go to sleep, trying to push this idea away. She would not leave me alone. She was very insistent and would not, I just kept popping into my head this image of this character over and over and over. And I'm like...
Which is really creepy when you think about it.
But she wouldn't leave me alone. So I was like, fine. And then... Like, I didn't even know who she was going to be just yet. And I know from experience that if I don't do it now, if I don't get it down now, it's going to go away. And by the time I wake up later, I'm going to forget I even had this image in my head. So,
she bolts.
Right after I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore, another one shows up. And it's a guy. And I'm like, fuck! So I run downstairs. I bolt out of bed. I run downstairs. I grab my sketchbook and I grab my pencil. I run back upstairs. And Rattles is sitting up in bed going, what are you doing? I sit down and I proceed to draw 2 more characters for the Frostpunks crew, which I hadn't intended on making 2 more characters at that point in time, but I did. And that's how they got created. And their designs is actually based on the other ones. It's very similar in design to the other ones. They share certain traits with the other ones. Like Wagner and Anton both have extending legs, which I didn't really go into that.
They're not always paired in terms of design.
Yeah, it's a 3x3 concept. But the Wagner and Anton both have extending legs, which I didn't really go into. But I had originally intended them to have extending legs, and I forgot they had extending legs, and they had extending legs again. But their legs extend so they can actually, because Anton works on grandfather clocks and stuff, so it gives him a little extra height when he needs it. And Wagner is just because it's one of those things to match, and also it does help because he works on the faces of the clocks, and some of these clock faces are huge. So I gave her the same trait. The other one is just really tall. He doesn't have that same trait. And he's more like Isaac and Klaus and them. But yeah.
Okay, I think you can go. I think pour the resolve on the carpet now.
I think.
So, the thing is that when we're thinking about things, everybody's mind works differently on how they portray things in their mind. With us in particular, from her description, she kind of takes on the sketchbook approach, and concepts just kind of show up, and then, just like she actually draws, she doodles, and the lines get darker, and whenever she's settled on an actual design. Me, on the other hand, I go from the film director approach. Everything pops into my head like a movie, which happens with a lot of writers. And it's probably why I can't ever seem to get an actual novel out. What is that over there?
That's
probably why I can't seem to get a novel out.
That's how 3x3 started.
Yeah, because I get the movie scenes in my head. I get it to the point where if you've seen the RagNBone prologue, you know exactly how I set this stuff up. I have, depending on the mood, I know exactly what mood I'm going for, even if the rest of the movie doesn't have to go around it. If you've ever seen Ghost Ship, that one horror movie, it starts out like it's going to be one of those old 1930 romance movies, but it's a horror movie. And I kind of have that same approach. And so I'm here visualizing animations and entire storyboards and everything to this, whereas she just kind of sketches it just like she would a sketchbook. She's kind of like drawing while she's asleep. But, when it's 6 a.m. in the morning and you need to sleep, and suddenly the warmth beside you disappears in a sporadic motion of jumping over you, yeah, that kind of annoys you a little bit.
You love me, bitch.
No, that was terrible. I wanted to kill you, which was kind of amazing. Anyway, let's see. This is branching on an hour. And we still have a hell of a lot more sets to go. I think we're going to do a part 1, part 2 of this as well.
Okay.
So,
well, if you want, we can actually avoid the hate punks because we don't want to reveal them, and we can avoid the facade crew because we don't want to reveal them either.
Yeah, the facade and the hate punks you guys don't really need to know about. We'll kind of go into how we got the concepts.
We apologize because they do have really awesome concepts. It's just
that we
don't want
There's certain elements it gives away just by the keywords that we give you.
Yeah.
So we don't want to give that away. The only ones that we really need to explain is NYC, which is the New York crew, and the College Punks, which we really can't go into detail with them either.
We can just say that the College Punks, I can officially say I have not seen anything like them on the forum, on DeviantArt, and I'm very proud of this statement.
Oh, yeah, which is why we will not show them. It's not that, we're selfish people who won't give up concepts. It's just that we don't...
They're unique enough. They're unique enough, and they're different enough that we think that they'll kind of blow you guys out of the water for 1 and for 2.
So we want to keep that impression.
And for 2, they're kind of lulzy enough because when you think about it, it's kind of the next obvious jump, and nobody's made it, and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, and then with the New York crew, those guys. Think New York City. Come on. And I think you'll get them. But, we don't want to go into too much detail with them.
Can we talk about that?
we can talk
they've seen Wooster. And
you've seen Wooster. Skit and Dubby, I only have 1 picture I've ever drawn of them. I have to draw them more. But Charlie is the one that has the most drawings, I think.
Charlie...
She was the very first to come around.
Charlie is the same setup as the arms and the legs are, stitched on.
She was never supposed to be intended of a group either.
Her arms and legs are not stitched on. They're actually tied on. She removed her stitching and tied them up. Because it gives her the easier ability of fixing herself, because she was very self-reliant for a while.